Good morning. We got a race against the weather this morning, so I'm getting a little bit of an early start. We have a no start situation. I thought the idea was to help get in. That seat moved forward just with the door opening. Let's see. Here we go with this auto lock. Definitely don't need that alarm going off. It's going to go off again. Alright, so we've got the starter there. And this is the 3.6 2014 Buick Lacrosse. First and foremost here, let's gain access to the battery. Take the 10 millimeter ground off, and then 8 millimeter down there. I've watched a couple of these videos of people doing this, and they say that this is a knock sensor. It's not a knock sensor, it's a cylinder head temperature sensor. But anyways, this is one of the things that I do to try to get an idea on how can I do this easier, and I've figured out an easier way of doing it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that this time. We're going to make sure that the doors are unlocked and disconnect that battery cable in. Alright, the battery end is disconnected. Next we're going to take the heat shield off of the outside of the starter, and that is going to be an 8 millimeter. So let's see if we can do this one-handed here. Grab that with our fingies. Set that up here in the front. Reach down here and disconnect the cylinder head temperature sensor. And grab the heat shield. It just locks around the solenoid for the starter itself. It's still not easy to get out of there, but whatever. You just got to make sure to rotate that plate up, and it'll come right out of there. Alright, now our next thing is going to be 15 millimeter, and we got one on the top here, right there, and then there's one underneath, so we'll have to jack it up. The back side of the starter is a 13 millimeter and a plug, which you can see maybe through there, the silver lining that's on that wire. That is going to be the power and the exciter wire for the starter itself. Alright, so what I've done here, disconnected the cylinder head temperature sensor. I took the one bolt out for the top. It's 15 millimeter. This is not the exact setup that I use, but just a basic 3/8 ratchet with a deep 15 socket. I was able to go in from the driver's side and take that bolt out. Your socket and extension sits up against the starter solenoid. Now coming from this side, take that same ratchet with a deep 13 millimeter and put your ratchet up under the O2 sensor wire if you don't have it unplugged and out of the way or off. You're going to come in from the left, or if you're looking at it, the left side of the catalytic converter or manifold, the passenger side of it, straight back onto the 13 millimeter stud. Sorry, it's a 13 millimeter nut on a stud. That's for the hot strap. Now we have the strap discode And this doesn't look like it has an exciter wire, but if it does, it's hidden away back up under the cylinder head. Now we do have another plug down there that we have to disconnect. That's the knock sensor. This specific engine is set up like the 3.0, so you don't have the super long exhaust manifold up here at the top. Let's see, we'll go underneath. We're gonna bring our El Cheapo rusty double-sided extendable Pittsburgh with a 15, not the 13, Brad, the 15. Wait, here it is. The 15 millimeter. That getting wet. And then we'll go under here and fish this thing out of here. We've already gotten the big boy Badlands jack tucked away under there and got the wheel lifted up off the ground. You don't have to get the tire off the ground, but I have a big head, so it's hard for me to squeeze it up under in tight places. I'm going to go get a screwdriver and pluck that clip off of that knock sensor down in there. That way it'll make it a little bit easier for me to unplug it. I think I'm going to have to get it from underneath because my hands are too fat to get in between the catalytic converter and the engine block. And yeah, I'll be back in a second. Well, it's off of there. We got 6 minutes and 40 seconds of recording, and you've not seen me doing anything. Just what I've done after the fact. But we're going to go under and try to do this last bolt with the video recording. We're going to take a couple 1-inchers just in case. And then we're going to take our cheapo electric ratchet, since my big head Milwaukee won't fit in there. I know this may be a little hard to see, but there's the starter over there. This light shining in over the top makes it a little difficult, and you're probably upside down. But this wiring loom has to come off. This is the one that goes up to the top of the starter. But it has to come off of the firewall, oh my goodness, the engine block, and move slightly out of the way. That way we can allow for the starter to come down out of here. And we're going to remove our O2 sensor wire. Well, you just break it off. O2 sensor wiring. That way that's one less thing in the way. This will allow us to move it around a wee bit. It's gonna be a little difficult to get off of there, considering it's a Christmas tree into an engine block. It's a smart idea, Chevrolet. Anywho's, we're gonna go get our extension. It's gonna be a lot more than the 2-inch extension that I initially thought. I'm doing this with one hand, so bear with me for a second while I fiddle and fondle the sockets. I'm also partially up under this vehicle, so I can't see my hands. We've got the extension on, the socket on, the ratchet's in reverse, and I'm not left-handed, so this is going to be an interesting event. Alright, we're in the general vicinity. I'll go ahead and pop that guy loose. There's our bolt, completely looking like the starter, and the wire is still in the way. I need you to get out of the way. You're in the way. I'm using this to break the initial torque and my electric ratchet to spin it out. Oh, come on. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and spin it out my hand. That'll make it easy. Looks like it's got a little oil leaking. Why would they make these things all-wheel drive? They act like this thing is about to do 6 million miles per hour. Front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive are very similar in how they work in snow or sand or anything like that. Not very good. Okay, I see the exciter wire up yonder. Ouch. Starter is loose. Get the big snout out of there. Watch that knock sensor up above. I'll let y'all watch that while I watch the starter fall on my face. Alright, I see the starter's exciter wire. It's right here where the tip of my pointer finger is. What? It's got a locking tab on that too. Oh, for Pete's sake. Alright, I gotta get out and get a pick and pluck the lock off. Pull the tab off, and then we'll worm it through this hole right here. And yes, it will fit without pulling the exhaust off. Alright, so I did get that annoying lock off. Here it is here. You have to slide that towards the passenger side. And then this has a tab that you push down right here on the top. It's easier to do it with a pick, which is what I did it with. That allowed me to use one hand for the pick and then grab the wire with the other hand. And then she pulled right on out of there. This starter is ready to come out of here. It does not want to be in this car any longer. It has fallen on me 4 times. Once while I was up top trying to see if I can gain access to that wire, and wouldn't you believe it, it don't want to come out of there now. Oh, that's because the hot wires got it again, which is what I moved earlier and it fell out. And there it is again, holding it up. Alright, let's get you all the way out of there. You know, it'd be nice having a little extra hand, but we're doing this in real time where people don't always have the help they need. And guess what, folks? There's the starter out. I don't want to show going it back in because I might say a few choice words to this here Buick. So if this helped you out any, consider giving me a like, a follow, share the video, subscribe, you know, all the good works. Thanks for watching. See you later.